Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with your daily update for the Ethereum Technicals and Solana. Before I get into it, I want to say that we will be doing a couple of schedule changes for the short term, and for this coming week I will only be doing a beginning and end of week update for these Ethereum Technical and Solana videos. Hopefully this will eliminate some of the more repetitive parts of the various videos that I do on a daily basis. Today I am updating the weekly chart, and on the Ethereum weekly chart, price has found support at 2400, ending the last completed week with a bullish candlestick just here. Volume supports downwards movement with the strongest volume on the bearish candlesticks, though a push on some of these bullish candlesticks sees some strength for upwards movement. The push on this last low just here where price found support around 2100, as you will see in more detail on the daily chart. The push from volume could indicate that the low may be sustained at this point, though as it is common for a push in volume and increasing range within the middle or end of a bearish movement, we will require confidence in upwards movement to see whether this low may be sustained. ADX continues to increase with a bearish trend that is not extreme and not yet in danger of ending, expecting price to continue lower. On balance, volume moves within a range currently giving no signal. RSI is neutral and declining, getting a little bit closer to oversold. Money flow also neutral and declining, getting closer to oversold. With the model of ADX, RSI, and money flow, we may expect these indicators to continue lower to where they may enter oversold. ATR previously increased along with price declining, moving sideways with an overall bearish slope as price consolidates and moves lower. This gives a bullish outlook for volatility, previously declining with price and increasing with price. And as this trend indicated by ADX is not yet extreme, it does expect price to continue lower, though as I have previously mentioned, it is possible that the low may be sustained at this point, though we will require confidence in upwards movement, which at this point we still do not have. And this trend may continue to where ADX reaches extreme or very extreme conditions, while RSI and money flow may enter oversold as previously mentioned, and or exhibit some divergence before the trend may be in danger of ending. On the technical daily chart for Ethereum, we can see more detail for price's decline after its last high, finding resistance at 3890. For the very short term, moving around support resistance at 2400. Volume supports downwards movement with the strongest volume on the bearish candlesticks and a push on the most recent bearish candlesticks. ADX continues to increase with an extreme bearish trend. On balance, volume continues with no range, currently giving no signal, though there was a previous bearish signal as it reacted to resistance, which was followed by some downwards movement. RSI neutral and increasing, we have some bullish divergence where RSI makes these higher points and price closes lower. Money flow also neutral and increasing, we see the same bullish divergence with money flow and price. This is quite strong bullish divergence, particularly the fact that we see it on both RSI and money flow, and could indicate that the bearish trend may end at some point soon. ATR has steeply declined as price consolidates, now moving overall sideways along with price. An overall bullish outlook for volatility remains at the daily time frame as well, where ATR previously increased along with price. And as ADX continues to increase with an extreme bearish trend, the trend may end at some point soon, particularly with the bullish divergence that we see on RSI and money flow as you saw previously. And additionally, we see the same volume spike at the last most recent low, where ADX then reached extreme conditions, while RSI entered overbought. As I have mentioned in previous videos, that the model of ADX, particularly with RSI within Ethereum, shows a recurring pattern of RSI entering overbought, ADX reaching extreme conditions, and the trend then ending soon after. However, with this extreme trend continuing to be indicated by ADX, it may expect price could continue lower. We will have to require a break below support at 2100, just here, or a break above resistance at 2720 for confidence that the trend may continue lower if price breaks below that support point, or that the low may be sustained as price may break above resistance at 2720. On the Solana weekly chart, this wave count sees primary wave 4 complete at this last low just here, and primary wave 5 and the end of cycle wave 3 to continue higher. Cycle wave 3 has a target calculated at 2887, which is the 11.09 extreme Fibonacci ratio between that and cycle wave 1. An Elliott channel drawn around the primary degree movements using Elliott's second technique from the end of primary wave 2 to the end of primary wave 4, with a copy on the end of primary wave 3. As price continues, it finds support at the lower edge of the Elliott channel at this point, though as upwards movement is expected to resume, the end of primary wave 5 and cycle wave 3 may find resistance at the upper edge of the Elliott channel, though as it is a fifth wave ending a third wave 1 degree higher, particularly at these large degrees, it is possible for it to end with a blow off top, as is common for markets like Solana. If primary wave 4 does continue any lower, it cannot move into primary wave 1 price territory at 26.4105. and this low with the end of primary wave 4 on the weekly chart. Is this low on the daily chart, we can see more detail for the downwards movement labeled primary wave 4 subdividing as a double combination, an Elliott channel drawn around primary wave 4 from the beginning of intermediate wave W to the end of intermediate wave X with a copy on the end of intermediate wave W. The end of intermediate wave Y and primary wave 4 have fallen just short of the lower edge of the Elliott channel. Though as upwards movement is expected to continue upwards, we can see where price has found resistance twice just here, and a full break above the Elliott channel with a full green candlestick above and not touching would add confidence to this wave count seeing the upwards movement to continue. An additional high above that point above 193.6182 would add further confidence to this wave count as it is this last high here. That would break the pattern of lower lows and lower highs shown throughout primary wave 4, and additionally it would invalidate the alternate wave count which you will see in a minute. As primary wave 5 continues upwards, any second wave corrective movement cannot move below its start at 111.4255, meaning if minute wave 2 just here wants to move any lower, it cannot move below this point. On the daily alternate chart for Solana, this wave count sees primary wave 4 incomplete to continue lower, currently within subminuet, minuet, and minute third waves, within minor wave C of intermediate wave Y. A target range is calculated for the intermediate and minor degree movements between 95.3167 and 84.7439, where these waves may be labeled complete. An additional low below 111.4255 would add confidence to this wave count as it is the invalidation for the main wave count as you saw previously. And as price is expected to continue lower, this best fit channel drawn around primary wave 4 from the beginning of intermediate wave W to the end of minor wave B within intermediate wave Y, and a copy on the low labeled the end of minute wave 1 within minor wave C just here, is expected to provide support as price continues lower. Though if price does continue upwards, it may find resistance at the upper edge of the best fit channel, though if it continues above that, then any second wave corrective movement within minor wave C cannot move above its start at 193.6182. On the technical weekly chart for Solana, price has overall consolidated after this last high finding resistance at 210. As price now continues overall a little bit lower, its last short-term high finding resistance at 190 with this bearish engulfing pattern just here. Volume at this time frame supports upwards movement with the strongest volume on the bullish candlesticks. On balance volume continuing within a narrowing range, currently giving no signal. ATR has overall previously increased along with price, now it moves sideways with a slight bearish slope as price consolidates, giving a overall bullish outlook for volatility. And as ADX declines for Solana at the weekly time frame, we use the model of stochastics and support and resistance instead of ADX, RSI, and money flow. This model suggests a downward swing may continue towards support down at 118, where price finds that support point and stochastics may enter properly oversold. It is also possible that an upward swing could continue towards resistance at 157, where the previous downward swing may have ended where price found support at 127 and stochastics fell just short of oversold. We will have to wait for price to continue around support at 127. If price continues upwards, then an upward swing may occur at this point, though if price breaks below support at 127, we can expect a downward swing to continue towards 118. On the technical daily chart for Solana, we can see more detail for price's consolidation after this last low, breaking ever so slightly below support at 118. For the very short term, finding support at 127 with this bullish engulfing pattern now moving a little bit higher. Volume is overall strongest on the upwards sessions, giving support for bullish movement, though a push on some of these bearish candlesticks sees some strength for downwards movement. On balance volume still has no new range, though this support range may continue to provide support. ADX continues with a bearish trend. It is unclear at this point whether this trend is extreme or not, as the ADX line and negative DX line are right in the same position. Though as this trend continues, it may reach extreme or very extreme conditions. RSI neutral with a bit of room before it may enter oversold and quite a bit before it may enter overbought. We have some bullish divergence here where RSI makes these higher points and price closes lower. Though as price has then continued lower, this divergence has failed. Money flow steeply declining. As price previously found support, it now has a little bit of room before it may enter oversold and quite a bit before it may enter overbought. Money flow does not exhibit any divergence at this time frame. ATR has steeply declined as price consolidates, giving an overall bullish outlook for volatility as it previously increased along with price. And as this trend indicated by ADX is not yet clearly extreme or not, it may continue to where ADX reaches extreme or very extreme conditions, while RSI and money flow may enter oversold and or exhibit some divergence before the trend may be in danger of ending at this point. That's all for me with your daily update for Solana and the Ethereum technicals. As always, if you do want the Ethereum Elliott Wave count, we have done an update for that today at pureelliottwave.com. You can sign up for that using the link in the description below. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a good week.